Welcome to Higher Education Marketing Institute. Today, we're getting straight to the question that's reshaping every enrollment and marketing strategy. Has AI changed what makes expertise valuable, or just moved it? And if so, what actually works now when students, families, and even AI itself are all looking for proof before they trust you?
If you're leading enrollment or marketing, you've seen the ground shift. AI isn't just a tool behind the scenes anymore. It's the first place students go for answers. But here's the twist. AI doesn't replace expertise. It changes where you need it. The value has shifted from cranking out content to framing problems, verifying facts, and knowing when to step in with a human touch.
Right. That's not just theory. Holly Leach at Yes and put it this way. Prompting AI is a craft. It takes structured thinking, context, and judgment to get anything worth using. Weak prompting doesn't save you money or time. It just burns cycles, and you end up rewriting the output yourself.
And that's not just a marketing agency talking. We've seen the same in higher ed. AI can write a page in seconds, sure, but unless someone with real knowledge is steering, you get generic, sometimes flat out wrong, answers. The real cost isn't the tech, it's the judgment. Someone has to know when an AI recommendation sounds right but would never survive a parent call or a review by your dean.
So in practice, what does that mean for enrollment teams? The new basics are almost retro. Make your program pages authoritative. State outcomes, cost, completion time, and audience, clearly and consistently. And keep those facts identical everywhere. Your site, your CRM, your downloadable PDFs. And now, the AI layer students are consulting before they even hit your homepage.
Let's talk about why that's suddenly urgent. According to Keystone Education Group, about 30% of program discovery is already happening through AI, not just Google. And AI is only as accurate as the data it can find. Yeshiva University found this out the hard way. They halved their online MBA tuition, but AI tools kept quoting the old $50,000 figure. Prospects saw the wrong price and walked away. The fix? Treat your program pages as the source of truth AI will scrape, and keep them ruthlessly accurate.
That's a real budget impact. Imagine investing in a tuition drop, only to have students bounce because an AI chatbot or search summary says you're still expensive. This isn't a hypothetical risk anymore.
And it's not just tuition. Students, and their parents, are looking for evidence everywhere. Keystone's research says 53% of domestic students rank affordability as their top factor. But families also want to see value, reputation, and outcomes. And one thing surveys miss: the experience. Liberal arts programs, for example, can get ahead by connecting families with current students and alumni, not just by posting a salary figure.
So, let's break down what's actually working for institutions facing shrinking international pipelines and a domestic market that's researching everything before they ever fill out a form. Purdue Daniels School is a good example. With international demand down 40% in some areas, they went all in on their local market. Pop-up events across campus, targeted screens, and even a dirty soda giveaway to capture leads. But the key wasn't just the event, it was the personal follow-up. Recruiters called students the next day. The result? Domestic applications up 40%, admits up 43%. That's not a subtle shift.
It's almost a throwback. Get students to a real person, fast. But now, that's a strategic edge. Because while AI can answer questions, it can't close the trust gap alone. Yield conversations, faculty touchpoints, open houses, those are where conversion actually happens. If you're still pouring budget into paid media but underinvesting in these human touchpoints, you're missing where the decision gets made.
And the data backs that up. The latest Hemi article lays out a simple playbook. Rebalanced budgets toward student-facing conversations, advising, yield calls, and faculty or alumni interactions. Pair verifiable proof, like outcomes and cost, with real stories to build early trust. That's how you reduce friction and get students to move from inquiry to application.
Let's pause on that point. There's a bit of tension here. The easy answer is just do both. Make your content machine readable and invest in people. But with budgets flat or shrinking, you have to pick your battles. The controversial idea, as Hemi puts it, is that the most effective enrollment marketing might actually cut paid media to fund high-touch yield efforts. That's a real trade-off. Are you willing to move dollars out of digital ads and into more staff for advising or follow-up?
And it's not just about shifting dollars. It's about shifting attention. If your team is still optimizing for rankings alone, you're missing the new gatekeeper, AI answers. That means you need canonical, schema-rich, machine-readable program pages, with atomic facts and question-based headings, so every common query maps to a single, authoritative answer AI can cite.
Let's get tactical. What does machine-readable really mean for a program page? It means outcomes, cost, time to completion, and audience are stated in structured data, not buried in a paragraph. Schema, named anchors, clean sitemaps. These are the things that let AI find and cite your information accurately. If you skip this step, you're trusting the internet to interpret your value story for you. And as Yeshiva saw, that's a risky bet.
And here's the kicker. The value of expertise isn't gone. It's just moved. AI speeds up routine work, but it pushes value into oversight, synthesis, and context. According to Holly Leach, the real edge isn't access to AI. It's having people who know how to make it earn its keep. That means knowing your business well enough to spot when AI is off, and sharp enough to frame the right problem before you ever prompt a tool.
We've seen this play out. Teams that treat AI as a shortcut end up with more rewrites, more review cycles, and, ironically, higher costs. The savings only show up when someone experienced is directing the work. As Leach puts it, you're not paying for prompts, you're paying for judgment.
So, for enrollment leaders, the takeaways are pretty direct. First, audit your program pages. Make sure every fact is current, structured, and matches what's in your CRM and what AI will see. Second, invest in the moments where students convert, advising, yield calls, open houses. Third, measure what matters, inquiries, applications, and deposits, not just clicks.
Let's test that. Say you're a mid-sized private college. You haven't updated your program pages in a year. Your outcomes are buried in a PDF, and your cost data is 2 clicks deep. Meanwhile, your admissions team is stretched thin, and you're still spending 60% of your budget on digital ads. Where do you start?
Step 1. Pull your top 5 programs and read them like a student. Or better yet, have a current student do it and narrate what they see. Can they find cost, outcomes, time to completion, and who the program is for in under 30 seconds? If not, you have work to do. Step 2. Check how those facts appear in search, in AI answers, and on aggregator sites. Consistency is non-negotiable now.
And don't just look at your website. Check TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, even Quora. According to Keystone, search now means all those channels plus AI. If you find outdated or conflicting info, fix it at the source. And if you don't have schema set up, now's the time. It's not just a technical exercise. It's your new frontline for trust.
Let's talk budget. If you're moving dollars from paid media to human touch points, what does that actually look like? For some schools, it's as simple as reallocating part of your digital ad spend to fund more yield calls, or to train faculty and alumni to participate in info sessions. For others, it might mean hiring a dedicated advising coordinator or investing in tools that make student follow-up easier.
And don't underestimate the impact of small moves. At Purdue, the dirty soda giveaway wasn't a huge budget item. It was the follow-up that made the difference. Getting students to a real human fast is what drove the 40% lift in applications. Sometimes, the old school moves are the ones that actually convert in this new environment.
There's a parallel here with how expertise works in AI. Prompting isn't just about asking the right question. It's about knowing the business context, the constraints, and what a successful answer looks like. In enrollment, the same applies. You need people who can spot when something looks right on paper but won't work for your actual audience.
And that brings us to measurement. If you're still tracking clicks and impressions as your main KPIs, you're missing the real story. The Hemi article recommends tracking visits, inquiries, applications, and deposits, and segmenting by transfer students, adult learners, dual enrollment, and retention. That's where you'll see the impact of these changes.
And be honest about your data. Publishing transparent outcomes and cost, even if it stings, will outperform glossy messaging in the long run. Students and families are fact-checking you, and so is AI. If your numbers don't add up, trust erodes fast.
And don't forget the experience bucket. Sonia Lapicus at Thiel College pointed out that value isn't just ROI as a salary, it's the whole journey. Connecting families with current students and alumni can be more persuasive than any statistic, even for programs where the path isn't linear. Showing the breadth of outcomes matters.
So, to wrap up the action list for enrollment and marketing leaders, first, treat your program pages as the single source of truth. Make them definitive, structured, and easy for both humans and machines to read. Second, rebalance your investment toward where conversion actually happens. Responsive advising, yield conversations, and authentic faculty or alumni touchpoints. Third, measure your funnel by outcomes that matter, not just digital vanity metrics.
And finally, recognize where AI fits in your strategy. Use it as a discovery layer, not a decision maker. Make sure your information is ready for both AI and human review. And remember, AI rewards clarity and proof, but students still reward transparency and real connection. If you can deliver both, you're ahead of the curve.
If you're listening and wondering where to start, here's a practical challenge. Audit one program page this week for canonical facts and schema. Schedule 2 yield conversations. Align your reporting to inquiries, applications, and deposits. Small, disciplined moves compound fast, especially when the work is both provable and human.
And if you're still skeptical, remember the Yeshiva MBA example. One outdated number can cost you a cohort. The stakes are real, and the fixes are often within reach. The shift isn't about adopting every new tool. It's about making your basics unbreakable.
That's it for today's episode of Higher Education Marketing Institute. For more on AI, proof, and people in enrollment, check out the latest articles at HIGHER EDUCATION MARKETING INSTIT.com. And as always, if you have stories about what's working, or not working, in your enrollment funnel, drop us a note. We're always looking for sharp examples and honest lessons.
Thanks for joining us. Next week, we'll dig into student-led content, what actually moves the needle, and how to operationalize it when resources are tight. Until then, keep your facts straight, your pages canonical, and your conversations human. See you next time.
Let's go deeper on the practical side. The Hemi article and Keystones panel both hit on something that's easy to gloss over. Most teams think they're student first, but their content is still written for internal audiences. If you look at a typical program page, you'll see institutional jargon, outcomes phrased in accreditation language, and cost data that's either missing or framed as contact us for details. That's not student first. That's institution first.
And the gap gets wider when you add AI to the mix. If a chatbot or AI summary is pulling from your site, it's not going to translate your internal language for you. If your outcomes are buried under 3 clicks and a PDF, AI will skip them, or worse, hallucinate. The student gets a partial answer, or the wrong one entirely. That's how you lose trust before you even get a chance to talk to them.
So the immediate fix is to audit with intent in mind. Every program page should answer 4 questions. Fast. What are the outcomes? What does it cost? How long does it take? Who is it for? And those answers need to be both readable by a student and structured for AI. That means using headings, schema, and atomic facts, not just narrative. If you're not sure your pages are hitting the mark, try the 30-second test. Can a student find all 4 facts in half a minute?
Let's stress test that. Say you're a director of admissions and you're getting pressure to boost yield. You know your outcomes are solid, but your program pages are heavy on mission statements and light on specifics. Where do you start? My view: don't try to rewrite everything at once. Pick your top converting program, strip out the fluff, and rebuild the facts section up top. Get the outcomes, costs, and audience in a table or bullet list. Then back it up with short alumni stories and faculty quotes. Once you have a working model, scale it out.
Exactly. And don't wait for a site redesign. This is an iterative job. Even a single page update can have a measurable impact if it feeds the right data to both students and AI. The Yeshiva MBA example is a warning. If your most important fact, like tuition, is wrong anywhere, you're already losing candidates. But it's not just about accuracy. It's about clarity and consistency across every channel students use.
Let's add a wrinkle. There's a temptation to let marketing own the content and IT own the structure. But as Holly Leach points out, the real work is cross-functional. Your admissions, marketing, IT, and even faculty need to align on what the facts are and where they live. If your CRM says one thing and your website says another, AI will pick up the conflict, and so will prospective students. Here is where most institutions get tripped up. The handoff between teams.
And that's not just a technical project. It's operational. Program directors need to sign off on the facts. Marketing needs to publish them. And IT needs to make sure they are discoverable. It sounds simple, but without a shared process for updating and verifying data, things slip. We've seen schools run into trouble because last year's tuition or faculty list is still live in a PDF somewhere, and AI dredges it up.
Here's where the role of expertise comes back. According to Holly Leach, the edge is having people who know where the weak spots are, who can spot when AI is likely to get something wrong, or when a fact is out of date. That's not a junior staff job. It takes institutional memory and the judgment to know which details matter most. And, honestly, the humility to admit when a program's outcomes or costs might be less competitive, but need to be transparent anyway.
Let's get into the funnel. The Hemi article is blunt. Optimize for conversion, not just clicks. That means segmenting your audience. Transfers, adult learners, dual enrollment prospects, first-time freshmen. Each has different questions, and your content needs to map to those intents. For example, adult learners want to know about credit transfer, time to completion, and flexible scheduling. If those facts are missing or unclear, you're not even in the running when AI summarizes options.
And here is where the shift in expertise really hits home. AI can answer the easy questions. The value for your team is anticipating the next one, the follow-up, the nuance, the exception. That's why high-touch yield conversations are so valuable. You can't automate empathy or context. When a student asks, "Will my military credits transfer or how does this fit with my work schedule?" a generic answer loses them. A real person with real knowledge can close the gap.
That's the human layer. The Hemi playbook says to invest where conversion happens. Responsive advising, yield calls, faculty and alumni touch points, open houses. But there's always friction. Budgets are finite, and every dollar you put into yield is a dollar you might have spent on digital ads or new tech. The controversial idea is that, in some cases, you should cut paid media to fund these high-touch efforts. Not every VP will agree, but the data from Purdue and others suggests it works.
I'll push back a bit. There's a risk in swinging the pendulum too far. If you cut digital spend entirely, you might lose reach, especially with students who start their search on TikTok or YouTube. The trick is to blend channels. Use paid to drive awareness, but shift your incremental dollars to the places where students actually convert. It's not either or. It's about knowing your funnel and reallocating based on what's working now, not what worked 5 years ago.
Fair point. But if you're still measuring success by impressions and click-through rates, you're missing the bigger picture. The real metric is deposits, not just inquiries or clicks. And that requires tracking the full journey, from initial AI discovery, to the first human touch, to enrollment. A lot of teams are still flying blind on this because their data is siloed or their CRM isn't set up to capture every touch point.
And that's not just a data problem, it's a strategy problem. If you don't know which touch points actually drive conversion, you can't optimize. The Keystone panel was clear. The most successful teams are ruthless about measuring what matters. They track every step: visits, inquiries, applications, deposits. They segment by student type, and they use that data to decide where to double down and where to pull back.
Let's bring it back to content. The Hemi article lays out a framework for building trust, led with proof and people. Publish verified outcomes, costs, and alumni pathways, and pair them with student stories and faculty expertise. That's what AI wants to cite, and what students want to see. But it's not enough to have the facts somewhere on your site. They need to be upfront, structured, and consistent.
And let's not forget mobile. The article points out that differentiators need to surface fast on mobile. If your site is slow, cluttered, or hard to navigate, students will bounce, and so will AI. Short form, student-led content can help here, too. A quick video or testimonial can do more to build trust than a wall of text. But again, the facts need to be there first.
The operational side matters, too. Clean information architecture, cross-functional collaboration, and metrics tied to actual enrollment, not just marketing outputs. It's easy to get stuck in the weeds of schema and structured data, but the goal is simple: make it easy for both machines and humans to find the truth about your programs. If you do that, you're set up to win at both AI discovery and human trust.
Let's talk about failure for a second. We've seen plenty of institutions invest in new tech or bigger ad budgets, only to find their funnel hasn't improved. Why? Because the basics weren't fixed. If your program pages are out of date, if your outcomes aren't clear, if your yield calls aren't happening, no amount of AI or paid media will save you. It's not a tech problem. It's a discipline problem.
That's why the Hemi advice is so focused on small, compounding moves. Audit one program page. Schedule 2 yield conversations. Align your dashboard to inquiries, applications, and deposits. These aren't flashy tactics, but they work, and they are measurable. You don't need a new platform to get started. You need a checklist and the will to keep at it.
Let's give a concrete example. Say you're a regional public university with a big adult learner population. Your web analytics show that most visitors never get past your homepage. When you dig in, you realize your program pages don't mention evening classes or credit for prior learning until halfway down the page. The fix? Move those facts to the top, use schema to tag them, and add a short video from an adult student. Suddenly, both AI and students get the information they need, fast. Your inquiry rate goes up, not because of more traffic, but because you removed friction.
And here's where the discipline pays off. Once you've updated the facts and structure, set a quarterly review. Facts change. Tuition, outcomes, faculty, requirements. If you let pages go stale, you're back where you started. Build the habit of fact-checking, not just storytelling. That's how you stay trustworthy for both AI and actual students.
We should also acknowledge the trade-offs. Full transparency on outcomes and costs can sting, especially if you're not the cheapest or your job placement data isn't perfect. But hiding the tough facts erodes trust faster than any negative number. The long-term winners will be the ones who publish the truth, pair it with real stories, and own their differentiators, even if it means losing a few prospects up front.
And that's a shift in mindset. It's not about glossing over weaknesses. It's about building credibility. AI is getting better at surfacing inconsistencies, and students are more skeptical than ever. The institutions that thrive will be the ones that treat every page, every conversation, as a chance to prove, not just claim, their value.
One last point on expertise. The Yes and article is clear. Expertise isn't about having all the answers. It's about knowing which questions matter, when to trust the AI, and when to step in with human judgment. That's where the value is now, not in volume, but in discernment. The teams that get this will see AI as an amplifier, not a replacement.
So, if you're listening and trying to figure out where to start, don't wait for perfect. Pick one program, update the facts, run the 30-second test, and measure the impact on inquiries and yield. Then move to the next. Small, consistent improvements, grounded in truth and operational discipline, are how you win in the new era of AI, proof, and people.
And if you're facing pushback, whether from leadership worried about transparency, or from teams reluctant to change workflows, point to the data. The Purdue and Yeshiva examples show the cost of inaction. The panelists from Keystone's webinar all agreed. The basics aren't glamorous, but they're what move the needle now. And as always, the best way to get buy-in is to show results, not just make the case.
We'll close with this. AI, proof, and people aren't three separate priorities. They're the new rules of enrollment and expertise. Structure your content for machines. Prove your value with data, and build trust through real human connection. If you can do that, you'll be ready for whatever comes next. For more, check out capital HIGHER capital EDUCATION capital MARKETING capital INSTIT.com, and let us know what you're seeing in your own funnel. Until next time, keep the basics strong and the conversations honest.